And they're underway in the B final of the under-17 women's single scull. We'll bring you as much of this race as we can, and we'll certainly bring you the last 10 strokes or so, but obviously we have to concentrate on the A final of every category, but the B final equally important for these youngsters, and they've all got away well. And Jessica Malcolm has been getting away quite nicely in her events, and Fukunakai of Team Japan, she'll be aspiring to win the B final. I've always said to athletes, if you're not in the A final, go out and make a statement in the B final. Win it, and win it well, and that'll throw a bit of a challenge to selectors or the crew scullers above you, because they'll think, oh, wow, have a look at the performance of that person, you know. So I'm sure they're all out there trying to do exactly that. So Phoebe Teal of Bucks in lane 1, Drummoyne's Sarah Fard in 2, Lily Smith of MLC in 3, Sarah Haas of Tazuni in 4, Fukunakai of Team Japan in 5, Jessica Malcolm of Centenary in 6, Katja Cook of Hewen in 7, and Tonya Lockteef of Adelaide in lane 8. And not very little to choose between them in the early stages. The peloton's got some size about it, and they're heading towards the first 500 metres in absolutely scintillating conditions here on day 4 of the 2019 Aon Sydney International Rowing Regatta. And heading towards the first 500 metre mark, and there's very little to choose between 1, 2, 3, 4 of them as they hit that mark. And Centenary's Jessica Malcolm was the leader. So there you go. I've been doing my homework. I've seen that she's been going out hard. The second 1,000 has been the challenge for Jessica Malcolm, but she's got away smartly again and leads over Sarah Fard, Sarah Haas, Lily Smith, Phoebe Teal, Fukunakai, Katja Cook and Tonya Lockteef. Nakai will come home strongly, although she's had a busy program and may be starting to feel the pinch just a little. Lane 6, Centenary, Jess Malcolm, coached by Mike Stelton and Peter Wadsworth. I think Michael and Peter coaching just about every Centenary boat that's here at the regatta. Fukunakai, part of Team Japan, preparing for the World Rowing Junior Championships to be held in Japan later this year as a test event for the 2020 Olympic Games. Sarah Fard of Drummoyne, Robin Mackney and Graham Gardner. Lizzie, you don't get two more experienced coaches than Robin and Graham.
That's very true. And working together, just so exciting, the talent that they're spotting and how they are bringing talent through the pathway.
It's great to see Drummoyne and Glebe and old clubs from around Sydney that have had a couple of little spells where they haven't been really into racing at the national championships, and they're back here and with some numbers.
That's very true, and I think the model that we have in New South Wales is difficult, but those clubs are very much the clubs who are drawing people into the young people into the sport, preparing them, and then we have 4 clubs that are specifically funded and supported to be high performance clubs, and there's a bit of a pathway then to them and then on to the National Training Centre. So it's difficult for clubs like this and for coaches like Robin and Graham, but they do a really fantastic job.
In one sense, they're a bit of a halfway house as kids come in and then they're identified and go to a stronger club, and I know that sounds a bit harsh, but they go to a stronger club where the pathway's clearer and the support's greater.
And the pressure is on as well, yeah. But you can't be all things to all people, and they do an amazing job. And it's all about the athlete.
At the 1,000 metre mark, Lily Smith has taken the lead over Sarah Fard. Jess Malcolm dropped back into third place. Sarah Haas is fourth. Then Fukunakai, she's come up a little. Katja Cook, Tonya Lockteef and Phoebe Teal. I've often said to sports administrators the same thing. If you're working in a state sporting organisation, often it's a pathway to a national job.
Yes, yes.
So I think these clubs are similar.
Yes, I would totally agree with you. It's not just about the athletes, it's also about the coaches. You gather that coaching experience and expertise, don't you? And then gradually build up your portfolio of experiences and involvement. Yeah.
Yep. Loyalty is one thing, but yes. I think talent's portable.
You mentioned loyalty, but I'm still a member of the very first rowing club that I ever belonged to, and I'm really proud to be a member still of that rowing club. And just because I didn't always race for them because I had to move on to another high performance club doesn't mean that you lose that passion for that club. And I think we've seen already with some of the athletes that you've talked to, that real love for how you started in the sport, and the first coaches, not just the coaches, but the club members that nurtured you and told you the stories and showed you how to do it.
Yeah, and that's why it's great to see Drummoyne and Buckingham Rowing Club also on the comeback. I see Will Muir and Mike Partridge in the grandstand, and they're coaching at Buck, so it's terrific to see that old club steeped in tradition here racing at the Nationals again. So Lily Smith of MLC led through the 1,000 metre mark, and then Sarah Fard of Drummoyne was second, and Jess Malcolm was third. Taz Uni, Sarah Haas was fourth. Fuka Nakai of Team Japan had moved up into fifth place, then followed Hewins Catcher Cook. Tonya Lockteef of Adelaide and Phoebe Teal of Bucks was in eighth place. So it's a good field. And we'll cross over to the A final as well. It's underway. So Lizzie will bring you the field in the A final.
Yep, in the A final, just kicking off now, we have Elizabeth Holtauer from Redlands in lane 1, Sophia Whiteman from the University of Queensland in lane 2, Lily Eales from Loreto Kirribilli in lane 3, Luca Currell from Corio Bay in lane 4, Lily Gavin from Sydney Rowing Club in lane 5, Sarah Russell from Tasmania University in lane 6, Laura Cipher of Rockhampton Grammar in lane 7, and Sarah Abrams of Hunter Valley Grammar School is in lane 8.
And they're heading towards the 500 metre mark as the B final approaches the 1,750 metre mark. And it looks like lane 3, Loreto Kirribilli, Lily Eales, coached by Mike Benarius, and Lachlan Allen would be our leader. And in the B final, Fuka Nakai coming home with a wet sail has moved up from 6th to 5th to 2nd. And we'll bring you that as they cross the line. So Lily Eales leading Elizabeth Holtauer by 1.1 seconds. Then follows Lily Gavin, Sarah Abrams, Luca Currell, Sophia Whiteman, Laura Cipher and Sarah Russell. But 1.1 seconds, and then the margins are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So you could throw a handkerchief over the field in the A final of the under-17 women's single scull. Sophia Whiteman, coached by Ben Spitz and Richard Powell. As I said, Lily Eales, coached by Mike Benarius and Lockie Allen. Corio Bay, Luca Currell, coached by Lee Hall Sullivan. Lily Gavin, coached by Brendan Longman and Donovan Check. Sarah Russell, Tas Uni, Mark Stotts coaching her. Laura Cipher, coached by Robin Fay. And Sarah Abrams, coached by Tom Herborn, Gabrielle Giles and Rowan Hislop at Hunter Valley Grammar. But the first race of the morning is coming to its conclusion. And it looks like Sarah Fard of Drummoyne has pushed right through there and may well be going to take the win. Fuka Nakai coming home strongly in the dying stages. Might just about get level, but I think it'll be Drummoyne first, Team Japan second, then lane 3 third, lane 6 is fourth. And a very close race. The only one tailed off is the buck sculler Phoebe Teal. So back to the race on the course. And it is Lily Eales, as we said, that led from Elizabeth Holtauer, Lily Gavin, Sarah Abrams, Luca Currell, Sophia Whiteman, Laura Cipher and Sarah Russell. And as we've alluded to previously, lanes 4 and 5 are in lanes 4 and 5 because they won the semi-finals. That's how you get into those lanes. As Lily Eales continues to lead. She's moved out a little further over Lily Gavin in second place now. Then follows Sarah Abrams. Elizabeth Holtauer has dropped back from second to fourth. Luca Currell has maintained her position in fifth. Laura Cipher moved up one spot from seventh to sixth. Sophia Whiteman now in seventh place, and Sarah Russell of Tasmanian University is in eighth place. But other than the lead for Lily Eales over Lily Gavin, the rest are very much still in contention for a medal headed by Sarah Abrams and Elizabeth Holtauer.
So that's very interesting. At the New South Wales State Championships, Sarah Abrams, who's currently in third, won bronze. Lily Gavin, who's currently in second position, was the gold medalist, and Lily Eales was the silver medalist. So obviously Lily Eales quite determined to finish off her season, or maybe it won't be the finish, but to certainly finish off this bit of the season with a gold medal.
Yes, she's doing very, very well indeed. So there's plenty happening in behind Lily Eels, as Lizzie alluded to a day or so ago. Lily, the son of legendary Wallaby John Eels, who lives in Sydney these days, a native of Queensland originally. And Lily doing a terrific job here for her school, Loretto Kirribilli. Out on this side of the course, Sarah Abrams of Hunter Valley Grammar, very much in the mix, I'd suggest. She was third at the 1,000 metre mark, but she shouldn't be discounted in the lane nearest to the grandstand. Sarah Abrams pushing right through there. Lizzie also alluded a couple of days ago to the fact that some people try and get in an outside lane by running in third or fourth in their semi-final, and maybe that's what Sarah Abrams has done, because she's going out hard now, trying to chase down our early leader, Lily Eels. And Lily Gavin of Sydney, coached by Brendan Longman and Donovan Check, is in the middle of the course. So it's lanes 3, 5 and 8 where the middles are sitting at the moment. The rest of the field have got a lot of work to do, headed by Laura Cypher and Luca Currell of Corio Bay. I'll be interested as they go through the 1,500. And yes, Sarah Abrams has taken the lead. You can see the push she was putting in out here in Station 8, and she's taken the lead away just 0.92 over Lily Eels. Then follows Lily Gavin, Luca Currell and Laura Cypher. Holtour, Whiteman and Russell not really in the mix for the medals at this juncture as we head into the last 500 metres of our first final of the 2019 Aon Sydney International Regatta. And Sarah Abrams of Hunter Valley Grammar, this may be a bit of an upset here. She's pushed right through in that third 500. Lily Eels is coming back at her ever, and Sydney's Lily Gavin in the middle trying to raise another effort. So it's Abrams in 8, Eels in 3, Gavin in 5. Be surprised if that's not where the medals are. Lane 7, Rockhampton Grammar is listing again, as is Luca Currell of Corio Bay. She's coming home strongly as well, but I reckon Abrams is still in front, as she was with 500 to go. Lily Eels trying to respond to that challenge from Sarah Abrams. It's all about timing the run. Lily Eels and Sarah Abrams stroke for stroke. Lily Gavin being pressured by Luca Currell for the bronze medal. And then out on this side, Laura Cypher is in 5th place. But it's Eels and Abrams, Station 3 and Station 8, stroke for stroke. I reckon Eels has come back. She might have her bow in front again. And then Sydney, Lily Gavin is coming home strongly. Sarah Abrams seems to have run out of gas in the dying stages. It's Lily Eels from Loretto Kirribilli is taking the lead away, and Lily Eels will win the under-17 single scull. Lily Eels will be first. Lily Gavin will be second. Luca Currell will be third. Sarah Abrams 4th. Laura Cypher 5th. Then University of Queensland in 6th. Redlands 7th and TasUni 8th.
Confirming the results of our first A final of the day, the A final in the under-17 women's single scull. A win for Lily Eels of Loretto Kirribilli. Second, Lily Gavin of Sydney Rowing Club. And third, Luca Currell of Corio Bay. Fourth, Sarah Abrams, Hunter Valley Grammar School. 5th, Laura Cypher, Rockhampton Grammar. 6th, Sophia Whiteman, University of Queensland. And 7th, Elizabeth Holthauer of Redlands. 8th, Sarah Russell of Tasmania University. Final time, 8 minutes 23.23 seconds. The margins 2.03 and 0.21. And actually 0.88. Back to Sarah Abrams. What a fantastic race. On the course at the moment is the B final of the men's under-17 single scull. We've got Harry Bevan from Buckingham in lane 1, Jacob Pang from Cathedral School Townsville in lane 2, Gabrielle Carmody of Sydney Rowing Club in 3, Zachary Judge of Townsville JCU in 4, Angus Painter of Tasmania University in 5, Sam Wilson of Footscray City in 6, Lachlan Donnan Wales of Riverway in 7, and Jake Gilmore of Townsville James Cook University in 8.
And it was Sam Wilson through the 1,000 metre mark who was our leader. Sam Wilson of Footscray City over Angus Painter of Tas Uni, but there was just 0.21 between them. Then followed Zachary Judge of Townsville and JCU. Jacob Pang, also from Townsville, but this time with the Cathedral School. Jake Gilsmore of Townsville JCU. Lachlan Donald Wales, also from Townsville, from the Riverway Club. Sam Wilson leading from Painter, Judge, Pang, Gilmore, Donald Wales, then Gabrielle Carmody and Harry Bevan. So what a cracking race was that under-17 women's single scull, and there's another one on the course now. And have our volunteers down here waiting to capture the boats for the medalists. Louis, good to see you, mate. And have a look at them on this side of the course. There's very little to choose. Angus Painter has moved right through there, and with him Sam Wilson, the early leader. I reckon Painter's in front of Wilson now. Lachlan Donald Wales and Jake Gilmore not that far away. And over a little further, Zachary Judge of Townsville and JCU. And the A final is underway also of the under-17 men's single scull.
The start list for that: in lane 1, Dua Kalantar from Nepean Rowing Club. In lane 2, Ben Horsnell of Cathedral School, Townsville. In lane 3, Mackenzie Branch of the Southport School. In lane 4, Gordon Applecrin of Cathedral School, Townsville. In lane 5, Samuel Mounter of Tasmania University. Lane 6, Harry Knott, Centenary. Lane 7, Jared Connolly from Buckingham. Lane 8, Michael Campbell of Sydney Rowing Club.
And through 500 metres, it's Samuel Mounter. Not surprisingly, the two heat winners are right up there. Samuel Mounter leading from Mackenzie Branch. Gordon Applecrin, Harry Knott, Michael Campbell, Ben Horsnell, Julia Kalantar and Jared Connolly. That's the order after 500 metres. Samuel Mounter, coached by Mark Stott. Jared Connolly from Buckingham's, coached by Will Muir. Mackenzie Branch from the Southport School, I imagine, is part of the first 8. I'm not sure, I stand corrected on that, but he would be coached by Duncan Free if that was the case. Ben Horsnell of Cathedral, Gordon Applecrin, as Lizzie alluded to yesterday, has been coached in Sydney. He's been in Sydney Rowing Club for a little while.
Yeah, that would be with Brendan Longman's group.
As this B final comes to a close, Angus Painter of Tasmanian University is going to win the B final, I'd suggest. Great race for second between Zachary Judge and Sam Wilson. Judge will be second, Wilson will be third. Fourth then will be over in Station 2, Jacob Pang. Fifth will be lane 7. Sixth will be lane 8. Seventh will be lane 3. And eighth will be lane 1, Buckingham. And we've called for a photo. Now, the information I have is that if it is within 0.2 of a second, a photo is automatically generated.
Oh.
So yesterday we were calling some that we thought were clear, but if it's within 0.2 of a second, a photo is automatically generated.
Which
so
means that they go back and analyse the photograph and have a time check on it.
Yep. So Samuel Mounter comes to the 1,000 metre mark, and he's still in the lead. He's got 1.98 of a second over Mackenzie Branch of the Southport School. Harry Knott of Centenary Rowing Club has moved up into third place. Gordon Applecrin of Cathedral is in fourth place. So Mounter, Branch, Knott, Applecrin, Connolly, Horsnell, Kalantar and Campbell of Sydney is at the rear. So a little change in the order through that second 500 metres. Mounter 1.98 in front of Harry Knott going through there. Then follows Gordon Applecrin. So Knott is on the improve. Then follows Connolly, who's also on the improve from Horsnell, Kalantar and Campbell. As soon as this race is over, we'll cross to the medal presentation for the under-17 women's single scull. And still a terrific contest out there with the umpire's boat in behind Samuel Mounter, our leader from Tas University. And he's sculling quite well. He seems to have a nice little lead now. He seems to be moving out even further in this all-important third 500 metres where so many races are won and lost. So Tas Uni, Samuel Mounter, Gordon Applecrin of Cathedral Townsville is still there in second place, along with Mackenzie Branch. Mackenzie Branch of the Southport School actually will be in second place over Applecrin. And he's got an overlap now on our leader, Samuel Mounter. Mackenzie Branch just 1.41 behind Mounter, so he's some chance of overhauling him. Then follows Harry Knott and Gordon Applecrin, and I don't think any of the others can get into the medals. Those four are where the medals are. Knott and Applecrin to fight out the bronze, and Mounter and Mackenzie Branch to fight out gold and silver. Ben Horsnell is in fifth place, Jared Connolly sixth, Julia Kalantar is seventh, and Michael Campbell is eighth. So very little change in that back four. But the interest is between Mounter of Tas Uni and Mackenzie Branch of the Southport School. Mounter in the middle in the gold singlet. Further out the Southport School in the predominantly white singlet. And those two have settled down to fight out the last 250 metres. And there's been a shipwreck there. There's someone gone over. The umpire's launch is right beside him.
Is it Harry Knott? Oh, no.
I think it's Harry Knott from Centenary that may have fallen in there. So we'll just have to wait to confirm that. As Samuel Mounter of Tasmanian University answers the challenge from Mackenzie Branch of the Southport School. And I don't know that Mackenzie Branch can peg him back from there. Sam Mounter, Tas Uni, Mark Stott, the coach, holding on tenacious to the lead. In the middle there, Gordon Applecrin of Cathedral Townsville holding down third place comfortably now, following the mishap to Harry Knott, and Applecrin will finish in third place without fail, but still Tasmanian University are going to go on and win this under-17 men's single scull through Sam Mounter. Samuel Mounter will be first, Mackenzie Branch of Southport School second, Cathedral Townsville will be third, fourth then will be Ben Horsnell of Cathedral Townsville, fifth will be close, but I reckon it may well be the Nepean sculler on the far side, then Bucks and Sydney, and Harry Knott is being rescued by the rescue craft as we speak.
The results of the Under-17 Men's A final: a win for Samuel Mounter of Tasmania University. Second, Mackenzie Branch of the Southport School. Third, Gordon Applecrin of Cathedral Townsville. Fourth, Ben Horsnell. Fifth, Jua Kalantar. Sixth, Jared Connolly. Seventh, Michael Campbell. We now move to the presentation of medals for the Under-17 Women's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The presentation of medals for the Under-17 Women's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Jaime Fernandez, Rowing Australia Deputy High Performance Director and Olympic silver medalist. Third and bronze medalist, representing Corio Bay, Luca Currell. Luca is coached by Lee Hall Sullivan. Second place and silver medalist, representing Sydney Rowing Club, Lily Gavin. Lily is coached by Brendan Longman and Donovan Check. gold medalist and Australian champion for 2019, representing Loreto Kirribilli School, Lily Eales. Lily is coached by Michael Benarius and Lachlan Allen. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the under-17 women's single scull.
So the under-19 women's single scull. We've got the B final is on the course and the A final is underway. The A final, we have Rockhampton Grammar Grace Cypher. In Footscray City, Louisa Bongrain. Sydney University, Ruby O'Keefe. Toowong Rowing Club, Lucy Hope. North Esk, Rebecca Bye. Sydney Rowing Club, Ella Hudson. University of Western Australia, Claire Netherway. Griffith Uni Surface Paradise, Jade Mansell. The B final is coming closer into view, and I would suggest it's Sophie Gerber of Toowong who's the leader of that event, maybe over Anne Wasson of Pine Rivers or across in lane 3, University of Queensland's Alexandra Rooney is also well up there. But in the A final, it's expected that Lucy Hope and Rebecca Bye will lead out. As I said, in the B final, through the 1,500 metre mark, Sophie Gerber was the leader over Anne Wasson, then followed Alexandra Rooney, Hinkako Ino, Misaki Anand, Katie King, Noni McCallan and Abby Boucher. In the A final, through 500 metres, and Toowong's Lucy Hope is the leader over Rebecca Bye. Follows Claire Netherway, Ella Hudson, Louisa Bongrain, Jade Mansell, Grace Cypher, and there's very little to choose. 0.88, 0.84, 0.35, 0.93, 0.15, 0.45 and 0.28. So you could almost throw a handkerchief over them. But it is Sophie Gerber of Toowong who's going to win the B final, pretty impressively, coached by her dad, Andrew Gerber. Second place still up for grabs with Alexandra Rooney of Uni of Queensland coming home very strongly in the dying stages. She'll get up and run second, I reckon. Then Anne Wasson of Pine Rivers just starting to die on her run a little there, but she was probably going to hold on for third. And across she goes, Gerber first, Rooney second, Wasson of Pine Rivers third, and Lizzie will write down all the rest as I go back to the A final. Lucy Hope, as I said, led from Rebecca Bye, and that's still the case. Claire Netherway is in third place. Ella Hudson is in fourth. Then Ruby O'Keefe, Jade Mansell, Grace Cypher, and Louisa Bongrain. And they head towards the 1,000 metre mark. There's a lot going on. There's an ambulance on the left. There's a peloton on the right. There's a boat being rescued. There's races being finished. And some fantastic racing out on the course as Lucy Hope of Toowong hangs on to that lead. The North Esk sculler, Rebecca Bye, coming right up to her. And then across to lane 7, University of Western Australia's Claire Netherway. And I reckon Rebecca Bye will have her bow in front as they go through the 1,000 metre mark, albeit narrowly over the early leader, Lucy Hope. Then Claire Netherway of University of Western Australia, Ruby O'Keefe. Grace Cypher's moved up from 7th to 5th. Ella Hudson has gone from 4th back to 6th. Jade Mansell is currently in 7th, and Louisa Bongrain of Footscray City is in 8th place. But it's Bye of North Esk who's put that charge in the second 500 metres and took the lead away at the halfway mark. She won a heap very, very impressively and her semi-final. And Rebecca Bye, coached by Trevor Barrett, who's doing a fantastic job at North Esk up in Launceston, has got a bow in front of Toowong's Lucy Hope. She's coached by Leo Karadimitris, Kieran Dwyer and Andrew Gerber. Then in third place, Claire Netherway. Stefano Beloso of University of Western Australia is her coach, and she's putting in a determined run in lane 7. Don't ride off lane 7, ladies and gentlemen. She's right in the mix. Ruby O'Keefe of Sydney Uni is still there, as is Grace Cypher of Rockhampton Grammar, Ella Hudson, Jade Mansell and Louisa Bongrain. Really, Footscray City's Louisa Bongrain is the only one that's not in the mix for a medal. As that push continues, Rebecca Bye of North Esk seems to have the better of Lucy Hope, and Claire Netherway in lane 7 is very much in the hunt for the gold medal. She's got the bronze at the moment and maybe even have her bow and silver medal position in this third and all-important 500 metres. But Rebecca Bye of North Esk maybe saying goodbye to the rest of the field, but as I said, don't ride off Netherway of University of Western Australia. Stefano Beloso's got a big contingent here, and she has moved into the silver medal position in that third 500. So Rebecca Bye of North Esk leads. Claire Netherway of University of Western Australia. The early leader, Lucy Hope, has dropped back into third place. Then follows Ruby O'Keefe, Grace Cypher, Ella Hudson, Jade Mansell and Louisa Bongrain is still back in 8th place. She's coached by Tony Lawless, and it's great to see Footscray City here at the Australian Rowing Championships as Rebecca Bye holds on to that lead in the she established in the third 500, but Netherway is hanging on tenaciously and trying to challenge the leader. Then across to Lucy Hope, who needs to raise another effort as Ruby O'Keefe of Sydney University goes out after her for the bronze medal. Ruby O'Keefe from London. Oh, okay. Thanks, Lizzie.
It's in school in London. She's an Aussie.
And a little to choose now between Rebecca Bye and Claire Netherway, and then follows Lucy Hope and Ruby O'Keefe. That's where the medals are, those 4, but 4 into 3 won't go. And Rockhampton Grammar's Grace Cypher is raising an effort on the far side of the course and is trying to get into a medal fight. Still Rebecca Bye of North Esk. She took the lead away after 1,000 metres and put a gap in the field at that point. Trevor Barrett coaching, and a great race for the minor ends of the prize, but it looks like the gold medal is going to go to the north of Tasmania, to the North Esk Rowing Club. Rebecca Bye, about a length clear, maybe a bit of clear water between herself and the tiring Claire Netherway. Lucy Hope coming back, Grace Cypher on the far side trying to get into the mix for the medals. As Rebecca Bye, she's just starting to look a little tired herself as Netherway and Hope battle for silver and bronze. Ruby O'Keefe's run has come to an end. It'll be very close. Oh, I'm not sure. 4th will be Rockhampton Grammar School. 5th will be Sydney University. 6th will be Sydney Rowing Club. 7th will be Lane 8. Jade Mansell. And 8th will be Footscray City. Not sure. Rebecca Bye certainly the winner, but a photo for 2nd and 3rd.
What an exciting finish. So we'll bring you the results of the photo finish as soon as we can. But the A final of the under-19 women's single sole, so exciting. The win, eventually Rebecca Bye of North Esk. A photo finish between Claire Netherway of the University of WA and Lucy Hope of Toowong. So one of those silver, one of those bronze. In 4th position and just missing out on the medals, Grace Cypher of Rockhampton Grammar, fantastic row from her. Ruby O'Keefe of Sydney University in 5th. In 6th, Ella Hudson of Sydney Rowing Club. In 7th, Jade Mansell of Griffith Unisurfers Paradise. And in 8th, Louisa Bongrain of Footscray City. And so it has been Claire Netherway judged to be the silver medalist, University of WA. Lucy Hope from Toowong, the bronze medalist. Time for that event, 8 minutes, 8.24 seconds. The presentation of medals and the John Piper Cup for the Under-17 Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals and cup will be presented by Mr. Ray Green, the donor of the Piper Cup. Third place and bronze medalist representing the Cathedral School, Townsville, Gordon Applecrin. Second place and silver medalist representing the Southport School, Mackenzie Branch. Gold medalist and Australian champion for 2019, representing Tasmania University, Samuel Mounter. Samuel is coached by Mark Stott. Ray will now present the Piper Cup. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our medalists in the Under-17 Men's Single Scull.
As the B final of the Under-19 Men's Single Scull draws to its conclusion, Cameron Glover of Swan River leading Hayden Coote of Swan River, and then across to Sydney's Namkai Stilianu in third place. Under-19 A final is underway. A final is underway, and this is for the Thomas Keller Memorial Trophy. Current title holder Cormac Kennedy Leverett of Griffith University Surfers Paradise. As Swan River Cameron Glover defeats Hayden Coote and Namkai Stilianu will be in third place. And we'll cross back to the A final, and the early leader in the A final was Max von Appen of UTS, from Lucas Matic of Mercantile, then Hamish Henriques of Western Australian Rowing Club, Western Australian Institute of Sport, Lachlan Wilmot of Gippsland Grammar, St Peter's College, James Andrew Arthur, Nick Blackman of Pembroke School, and Patrick Burke is at the rear. So there's been a scratching. Jonty Wright has been withdrawn from this event that we were not aware of, which has thrown a little bit of confusion into things there. And
what a shame after such a good showing yesterday. I was looking forward to seeing him race all these guys. Oh well.
And it may well be it is Hamish Henriques who's taken the lead there, Western Australian Rowing Club and Wace. Hamish coached by Jamie Hewlett, who does a great job in Western Australia. Lucas Matic is holding down second place. Max von Appen from UTS is in third. Then follows Lachlan Wilmot. James Andrew Arthur, who is part of the first 8 at St Peter's College. He's coached by triple Olympian James McRae, an Olympic medalist, dual Olympic medalist James McRae. And he's holding down fifth place, followed by Nick Blackman and Patrick Burke. So the Thomas Keller Memorial Trophy for this event, named after the former Secretary-General of FISA, Tommy Keller, who ran FISA for a long, long, long time, and one of the highest regarded sports administrators that the world has ever seen.
Absolutely, and we have so much, we owe so much to him for being so organised, really.
So the Thomas Keller Memorial Trophy for the Under-19 Men's Single Scull, it was felt appropriate that that's the level that the trophy should be for. And Hamish Henriques is looking to join a very, very distinguished list of young men who have won the Under-19 Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia. As I said, the current title title holder Cormac Kennedy Leverett, who will be later on in the final of the under-23 men's single scull. In second place is still Lucas Matic of Mercantile. He's coached by David Fermano and Zachary Smith. As we said, Matic went from Melbourne, from Essendon up to Nudgee College, and following his schooling is relocated back to Victoria and is now a member of Mercantile Rowing Club. Max von Appen of UTS, he's coached by Alex Field. And then across on the other side, I reckon it's Blackman of Pembroke, Andrew Arthur of St Peters, Wilmot of Gippsland Grammar, and Patrick Burke of Mossman may well be in 7th place, noting that lane 4, Jonty Wright of Waikato, has been withdrawn. But he's making every post a winner is Hamish Enriques. Probably looking to make a statement to the Australian selectors, Lizzie, that I want to be selected to row the single at the World Rowing Junior Championships.
Quite possibly, yes. But this isn't he's going to have to repeat this again at trials in 3 or 4 weeks' time.
And row a time that says, wow, we should give you a go.
Yes, and I think if he rows a time that says, wow, we should give you a go right now, they would definitely look at him. And certainly these conditions are lovely. Absolutely
Scintillating conditions out there as Hamish Enriques sculls beautifully in the last 225 metres of the under-19 men's single scull, which carries with it the Thomas Keller Memorial Trophy. Great race for second and third. Lucas Matic has been holding down the silver medal for quite some time, but Max von Appen is right there with him. Far side, St Peters James Andrew Wather trying to get up into 4th place in front of Nick Blackman of Pembroke School, South Australian Sports Institute, but they are no match for Hamish Enriques. West Australian Rowing Club, Western Australian Institute of Sport has gapped them in the under-19 men's single scull. Great race for the minor ends of the prize, but the gold medal will go west to the Western Australian Rowing Club. Wace, Hamish Enriques, he'll be first. Matic will hang on for second, albeit a desperate fight for that. Third may well be lane 7. Yes, Von Appen will be third. Great race for 4th. Lane 2 will be 4th. Pembroke School will be 5th, Mossman will be 6th, and Gippsland Grammar will be 7th. My old heart's not going to be able to stand this all day.
I don't think your voice is either. Oh, what a fantastic final. What an absolutely stunning row from Hamish Enrique to take out the under-19 men's single scull. He represents Western Australia Rowing Club and the Western Australia Institute of Sport. In second, Lucas Matic Mercantile. In third, Max von Appen UTS. In fourth, James Andrew Walters St Peter's College. In fifth, Nick Blackman Pembroke School and the South Australian Sports Institute. In sixth, Mossman Rowing Club's Patrick Burke. And in seventh, Lachlan Wilmot of Gippsland Grammar. Time for that event, 7 minutes, 10 seconds, 0.68.
Here you go, mate, we're ready.
We now move to the presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Jamie Fernandez, Rowing Australia Deputy High Performance Director and Olympic silver medalist. Third place and bronze medalist representing Toowong Rowing Club, Lucy Hope. Lucy is coached by Leo Karadimitris, Kieran Dwyer and Andrew Gerber. Second place and silver medalist representing the University of Western Australia, Claire Netherway. Claire is coached by Stefano Belosso. Gold medalist and Australian champion for 2019 representing North Esk Rowing Club, Rebecca Bye. Rebecca is coached by Trevor Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists for 2019 in the Under-19 Women's Single Scull.
B finalers on the course of the under-19 women's Coxless pair. Hunter Valley Grammar in 4, Georgia Mortimer and Caitlin McAllister. University of Queensland in 5, Mia Vecchio and Carly Furman. And New Norfolk in lane 6, Evie Lisson and Molly McCausland. So we're just starting to settle down up here. It's been frenetic this morning.
We're only up to, what is it, race? Not very much, still in single digits. Fantastic. That's what you come here for, though.
I hope our reinforcements are ready.
And I'd just like to say how fantastic to hear you cheering in the grandstand. Thank you very much. It makes it all so exciting for the competitors, but definitely for us up here in the tower too.
And the 12,000 people who've watched so far on
12,000
live streaming. We're over 12,000, so well done. And we look forward to many, many more over the concluding 4 days of this regatta. University of Queensland, Mia Vecchio and Carly Furman, our leaders. They're coached by Gus Rodero and Richard Powell as we cross to the start line of the under-19 women's Coxless pair.
The A final of the under-19 women's Coxless pair. In lane 1, Seymour College, Gabby Huxtable and Nicola Gordon. In lane 2, Tasmania University, Jemima Morgan and Summer Carpenter. In lane 3, from the University of Queensland, Phoebe Howe and Kirsten Viljoen. In lane 4, from Toowong Rowing Club and the Queensland Academy of Sport, Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor. In lane 5, from Kinross Walleroy, Lucy Jenkins and Bridget Yeomans. In lane 6, from Sydney University, Danielle Stewart and Sophie Houston. In lane 7 from the University of Queensland, Gabby Byrne and Mackenzie Durbridge. And in lane 8 from Commercial, Bridget Valatic and Charlotte Jenkins.
Current title holder, Griffith University Surfers Paradise. I think they're in the final of the under-21 pair later in the program. But our heat winners were Toowong, or straight through to the final, Toowong and Kinross Walleroy. Toowong, Phoebe Robinson, Laura Chancellor, coached by Kieran Kiwi Dwyer, and Kinross Walleroy, Lucy Jenkins and Bridget Yeomans, coached by Sarah Cook and Tobias Via Chandler.
Power couple,
yes, married and director and head coach at Kinross Walleroy in Orange, and doing a great job there as well.
Yeah, Tobias is also the head coach of the rugby.
Oh, really?
So,
Well,
so that's good.
He is a Kiwi. What do you expect? In the B final, it's still the University of Queensland leading Hunter Valley Grammar and New Norfolk as they head towards the first timing mark in the under-19 women's Coxless pair A final. Looks like the Toowong crew that's got away very smartly indeed. And across to the Sydney University Boat Club crew, right on their hammer. Then a straight line headed by Commercial, they're probably holding down third place. So it's Toowong, Sydney Uni, Kinross Walleroy, Commercial, University of Queensland, Seymour College, Tas Uni, and the University of Queensland crew in Station 3. Back in 8th place. But Toowong, Robinson and Chancellor, coached by Kieran Dwyer, as I said, supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport, were the leaders through the first 500 metres. Hunter Valley Grammar, as you were in this race, in the course in front of us. Sydney University have moved into second place in the A final. Danielle Stewart and Sophie Houston, coached by Alfie Young. I caught up with Alfie last night. It was great to have a chat with him. And then in third place is Jenkins and Yeomans of Kinross Walleroy. Fourth, Commercial, Valatic and Charlotte Jenkins, coached by Billy Caldwell. Fifth is University of Queensland, Byrne and Durbridge, who are coached by Gus Rodero and Richard Powell. Then follows Seymour College. Seymour College coached by Eleanor Wilson, a former national team athlete at junior level. As the B final draws to its conclusion, University of Queensland will be first. Second will be Hunter Valley Grammar, and third will be New Norfolk. So in the A final, in 8th place is the University of Queensland crew of Howe and Viljoen, also coached by Gus Rodero and Richard Powell. So the crew from Toowong, Queensland Academy of Sport, and the Sydney University Boat Club crew seem to have moved out on the rest of the field as we head towards the 1,000 metre mark. And we thank John Meekings, who's been here ever since this place began, for the cameras that he has on the course. And it is Toowong in the lead. about a length and a quarter maybe over Sydney University, then the University of Queensland Boat Club. So it's lane 4, lane 6, lane 7 is the order in the A final of the under-19 women's Coxless 4. Toowong, Sydney University of Queensland, Kinross, Walleroy, now in 4th place. Commercial 5th, Uni 6th, Seymour College 7th, and the second of the University of Queensland Boat Club crew is back in 8th place. So Robinson and Chandler have got Chancellor have very good records as youngsters. They've done very well previously and are doing an excellent job here in this Toowong QAS under-19 women's Coxless pair.
Yep, of course, Phoebe Robinson, who was in the junior women's Coxless 4 last year, and Laura Chancellor, who started off in the junior double, and then because of injury, when that crew couldn't race, moved into the Coxed 4 and came home with a world silver medal.
Well, that's right. There were 2 injuries, wasn't there? It was
that's
an injury
right.
in the 4, an injury in the double, and Laura went from the double
from the double to the 4. Yeah.
So obviously very adept at either sweep or sculling, and at the moment has just got a touch of clear water over the Sydney University Boat Club crew, holding down 2nd place. Gabby Byrne and Mackenzie Durbridge of University of Queensland currently in the bronze medal position, and those 3 have got a nice margin, I'd suggest, Lizzie, over 4th, possibly Commercial, or over in the middle of the course, maybe Kinross, Walleroy still there in the mix.
Yeah, but Kinross Walleroy being pressed really by Commercial. They've only just got their bow ball in front, haven't they? So, they're coming through the 1,500 metre mark now.
And Robinson and Chancellor 5 seconds clear now over Stewart and Houston. Then follows Byrne and Durbridge. Is she Houston or Houston? Marguerite Houston.
I've always said Houston. That's
yes, yes.
I'll have to ask her.
Marguerite Houston, who rode at the Olympic Games, spelt the same way. But it's Toowong, Robinson and Chancellor leading 5.01 over Sydney University of Queensland. Then follows Commercial, Kinross, Walleroy, Seymour College and University of Queensland. You picked it. You did say that Commercial were right beside the Kinross Walleroy crew, and you thought they might be up there, and that's in fact the case. But the leaders have got 5 seconds up their sleeve. Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor. As Lizzie said, we're in the Australian under-19 team at the World Rowing Junior Championships last year, looking to go to Tokyo this year. And this is the way to do it. Get out in front and show the selectors that you've got some speed. Whether you're in a double, whether you're in a pair, they both rode in 4s last year and did very, very well. And they're going to win this, barring mishap, in lane 4. Toowong, QAS, Robinson, Chancellor, coached by Kieran Dwyer. Out in the lead over Sydney University, Danielle Stewart and Sophie Houston, coached by Alfie Young, clearly in 2nd place. 3rd, also clearly, University of Queensland, Gabby Byrne and Mackenzie Durbridge, coached by Gus Rodero, a native of Argentina, and the head coach at the University of Queensland Boat Club, Richard Powell, himself a dual Olympian. Then in 4th place is the crew from Commercial. 5th is Kinross Walleroy, although they're under pressure from Uni, as the Toowong crew goes to the line to win the under-19 women's Coxless pair. Toowong, Queensland Academy of Sport 1st, Sydney University 2nd, University of Queensland Boat Club will be 3rd. Commercial hanging on tenaciously to 4th, under pressure from Uni on the far side of the course. Coming home very strongly, the Uni girls, Jemima Morgan and Summer Carpenter. But Commercial will be 4th. Uni will be 5th. Kinross Walleroy will be 6th. University of Queensland will be 7th. Seymour College will be 8th.
Confirming the results of the A final of the under-19 women's Coxless pair, a win for Toowong and the Queensland Academy of Sport, Phoebe Robinson and Laura Chancellor. 2nd, Sydney University, Danielle Stewart and Sophie Houston. And 3rd, University of Queensland, Gabby Byrne and Mackenzie Durbridge. 4th, Commercial. 5th, Tasmania University. 6th, Kinross Walleroy. 7th, University of Queensland. And 8th, Seymour College. Time for that A final, 7 minutes 38.21 seconds. the presentation of medals, and the Thomas Keller Memorial Trophy for the Under-19 Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals and trophy will be presented by Hamie Fernandez, Rowing Australia Deputy High Performance Director and Olympic silver medalist. Third place and bronze medalist, representing UTS Haberfield Rowing Club, Max von Appen. Max is coached by Alex Field. Second place and silver medalist, representing Mercantile Rowing Club, Lucas Matic. Lucas is coached by David Framano and Zachary Smith. Gold medalist and Australian champion for 2019, representing West Australian Rowing Club and the Western Australia Institute of Sport, Hamish Henrique. Hamish is coached by Jamie Hewlett. The Thomas Keller Memorial Trophy is now being presented by Hamie Fernandez. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champion and medalists in the Under-19 Men's Single Scull. We now move to the A final of the men's Coxless pairs. In lane 1, Sydney University, Finley Blake and Tom Anderson. In lane 2, Mossman, Lexi McLean and Nick Rath. In lane 3, Mossman, Torben Ungermark and Nick Pender. In lane 4, Brighton Grammar, Harrison Kirkham and Martin Kuleza. In lane 5, Melbourne University Boat Club, Nick Smith and Jack Thornton. In lane 6, a composite between West Australian Rowing Club and Swan River, Riley Rees-Turner and Duke Gordon. In lane 7, Brighton Grammar, Jacob Williams and Joshua Bortolussi. And in lane 8, Launceston Church Grammar School, Samuel Dowling and Lachlan Stedman.
As the B final comes to a close and Geelong College defeats Rockhampton Grammar School in that event. And the A final underway through the 500 metre mark. It's Brighton Grammar in the lead over Brighton Grammar. Kirkham and Kulisa leading Williams and Bortolussi. Then follows Mossman, Western Australian Rowing Club, Swan River, Melbourne University, Sydney University, Launceston Church Grammar, and Mossman at the rear of the field.
That's interesting, that Mossman crew at the rear of the field. These are guys from two different schools, and I suspect that's a relatively scratch pair. But yesterday, those two Mossman crews combined into a really good under-19 for Coxed 4. So as we see these small boats come down, I think we're getting an idea of form. But they're much more used to rowing in bigger boats, aren't they, than pairs at this age?
Well, that's what they do at school, obviously, isn't it? You know, and Torben Ungermark, of course, the son of Matthias Ungermark, rowing there with Nicholas Pender and Lexi McLean and Nick Rath, coached by Matthias Ungermark, Ross Tong and Julian Huxley. And Ross and Julian are from two different schools, you said.
They are, yeah. Ross from St Joseph's College and Julian Huxley from King's.
Yep.
The King's School Parramatta.
But the Brighton Grammar crews are in the lead, are coached by Nick Lloyd, and Nick's had great success over a number of years coaching at school rowing, and they are still in the lead. However, one of them has just been passed by a number of crews as Western Australia Swan River move clearly into second place. Then follows the improving Mossman crew, Melbourne University, Brighton Grammar, Sydney Uni, Mossman, and at the rear is the Launceston Church Grammar School crew. So it's the Brighton Grammar crew of Kirkham and Kulisa. Harrison Kirkham, Martin Kulisa, coached by Nick Lloyd, that leads. Over Western Australia, Swan River Composite, Riley Rees-Turner and Duke Gordon, coached by Mark Beer, Neville Kempton, and the evergreen Georgie Zuris. Great to see Georgie's name here on the coaches list. The Mossman crew in third place, Torben Ungermark and Nicholas Pender, coached by Matthias Ungermark. Then follows Melbourne University Boat Club, VIS, Nick Smith and Jack Thornton. They're coached by Matty Ryan, himself an Olympic silver medalist in the Coxless 4 in Beijing in 2008, and then rowed in the 8 in 2012. And now living in Melbourne, where he coaches at Wesley College and also coaching at Melbourne University Boat Club. But
we won't talk about the fact that he's an assistant coach to the the King's Cup crew for Victoria.
It has been mentioned on social media. I was one of the people who spoke about it, in fact.
Quite
but
contentious.
The second Mossman crew, Lexi McLean and Nick Rath, not really in the hunt at this moment, as the crews in the middle of the course there, that Brighton Grammar School crew, and over to Western Australian Rowing Club and Brighton Grammar in Station 7, and the crew from Mossman of Ungamark and Nicholas Pender. They're the crews in the mix for the medals. Launceston Church Grammar, Sydney Uni, and the Mossman crew in lane 2. No match for those 5 crews in the middle that I just listed. There's a push coming from the Western Australian crew. Brighton Grammar, Harrison Kirkham and Martin Kulasa. Of course, Zach Kirkham, I don't know if they're any relation. Zach Kirkham rode for Australia out of New South Wales. This youngster's name's Harrison Kirkham, going to Brighton Grammar School. Of course, former Rowing Australia commentator Roger Wilson, a Brighton Grammar old boy, and proudly so. And that Brighton Grammar crew still got a half a length lead over the Western Australian composite crew. Then anybody's guess for third. You've got that Mossman crew of Ungamark and Pender. This side you've got the second Brighton Grammar crew and the Western Australians Reece Turner and Duke Gordon. As the Brighton Grammar leaders come under pressure now. Mossman drawing up almost level with them. Brighton Grammar starting to feel the pinch. Western Australian composite crew Riley, Reece Turner and Duke Gordon trying to lift. Brighton Grammar sees the danger. They lift their rate. They lift their effort. It's probably going to be enough, but the Mossman crew is coming home strongly. Torben Ungamark and Nicholas Pender, coached by Matthias Ungamark, trying to peg back the crew from Brighton Grammar School. Brighton lifts again. Mossman coming at them. Brighton responds. Too strong, the Brighton crew. Great rowing. Have responded beautifully to the challenge from Mossman. Brighton Grammar first. Mossman second. Western Australian composite crew third. Fourth will be lane 5, Melbourne University. Fifth, the other Brighton Grammar crew. Sixth will be lane 1, Sydney Uni. Seventh, Launceston Church Grammar. And eighth will be Mossman. And that's my lot for the first hour. Thank you very much to Lizzie. Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll hand over to Owen Nix.
It's all too exciting for him. The results of the A final of the under-19 men's Coxless pair. A fine win for Brighton Grammar, Harrison Kirkham and Martin Kuleza. Second, Mossman Rowing Club, Torben Ungamark and Nicholas Pender. Third, the West Australian Swan River composite of Riley, Reece Turner and Duke Gordon. Fourth, Melbourne University Boat Club. Fifth, Brighton Grammar. Sixth, Sydney University. Seventh, Launceston Church Grammar. And eighth, the Mossman crew of McLean and Rath. The winning time, 6 minutes, 59.49 seconds. 6.7 seconds. The margins 1.48 and 1.61. The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Coxless Pair Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Flavia Gobbo, Rowing Australia Director and Chair of the High Performance Commission. Third place and bronze medalists representing the University of Queensland Boat Club, Gabby Byrne and Mackenzie Durbridge. Gabby and Mackenzie are coached by Augustin Radiro and Richard Powell. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney University Boat Club, Danielle Stewart, Sophie Houston. Danny and Sophie are coached by Alfie Young. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, Toowong Rowing Club, Phoebe Robinson, Laura Chancellor. Phoebe and Laura are coached by Kieran Dwyer and supported by the Queensland Academy of Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the under-19 women's Coxless pair. We move now to the under-21 women's single scull. The B final is in progress. We'll bring you some news of that in just a moment, but the A final is about to start. In lane 1, representing Sydney Rowing Club, Lauren Lyon. In lane 2, Lily Cathcart from Melbourne Rowing Club. In lane 3, Raquel Cuvas of Sydney University Boat Club. In lane 4, Adelaide Scott of UTS Haberfield. In lane 5, Swan River, Leah Franklin. In lane 6, Nicola Greenland from the Australian National University and the ACT High Performance Programme. In lane 7, Sky Frobel from Mercantile Rowing Club and the Victorian Institute of Sport. In lane 8, Jean Mitchell from Banks.
And Swan River's Leah Franklin has started to push out to the fore in this one. Out of lane number 5, she's coached by Mark Beer, the former Mossman coach and former Cambridge University coach, and that's Leah Franklin on stream, one of the semi-final winners. The other semi-final winner alongside of her in the black, white and teal is Adelaide Scott of UTS, who had her best race of the season thus far in the semi-finals, and it's those two that are first two through the 500 metre mark, followed then by Raquel Cuvas, the former Nepean junior, in third spot, and Nicola Greenland, formerly of Radford College, there in fourth position. So through that first 500 metres, they went through in 1:54.48. Lauren Lyon from Sydney was in fifth. We saw her really start off quickly in the semi-final and held on to qualify for an outside lane in this one. Skylar Frobel, the former Australian team junior, they're in sixth position, followed by Cathcart of Melbourne and Jean Mitchell of Banks, coached by Will Raven and Edward Fuller, in eighth position. So it looks like a bit more conservative tactics in this one from the Sydney Sculler Lauren Lyon. She really blasted out in that semi-final and paid the price in that last half of the race, but managed to hold on to qualify for the final in this one. But Leah Franklin did look the goods in the semi-final and is still on form here in the A final. Charlotte Wirtz of Melbourne University, the title holder in this event. These crews now starting to make their way up towards the 800 metre mark with lane number 5, Leah Franklin, a Swan River Rowing Club in Perth, Western Australia, looking prominent. And the B final just heading up towards the finish line. It is the University of Western Australia, Jamie Park, in the Breaking the Drought boat that has taken out the B final of the under-21 women's single ahead of Alula Beth Collins of the Australian National University. Her clubmate Lily Reardon third, fourth to Emily Hoare of the University of Western Australia. West Australian Rowing Club's Paris Kapoor was fifth, and then followed by Noonan of Swan River in sixth and Foley of Corio Bay in seventh. Now making their way up towards the halfway mark, it is still Leah Franklin that enjoys a clear water advantage over Adelaide Scott of UTS Rowing Club and Raquel Cuvas in third place for Sydney University. These three have started to move out to some clear water. It's about another 2 boat lengths then to Nicola Greenland of the Australian National University, and then followed by Lauren Lyon in fifth position, Frobel of Mercantile in the VIS in sixth, Cathcart in seventh, and Jean Mitchell, who was a national champion last year in the schoolgirl quad for Wrighton Girls, is there in eighth position in lane 8 on this side of the course. So Leah Franklin was dominant at the New South Wales State Championships, winning this event, and looking to enjoy some more success on the Sydney National Regatta Centre course. And she's looking very, very good as she leads Adelaide Scott, who was struck form at the right time of the season. She was the stroke of the New South Wales Youth 8 last year, and really ferocious competitor. And they're racing with Raquel Cuvas, who started off her rowing just a few kilometres away at Nepean Rowing Club and has been at Sydney University the last few years. She's coached by Debbie Fox, and she's having a good third 500 metres and trying to stay there in bronze medal contention, and also to push up on Adelaide Scott, who's currently in the silver medal position. In fourth, we have Nicola Greenland, who was part of the silver medal winning schoolgirl quad from last year at Radford College. She's coached by Renee Domichens. And over on the far side of the course, Lauren Lyon, still doing a good job out of on the far side of the course. She's in fact in fourth position. So they're starting to make their way up towards the 1,500 metre mark, and about 2.5 lengths to the good is Leah Franklin. And she has been the favourite in this event, and showing why, and looking for a sub-8 minute time here in this under-21 women's single scale. Still leading from Adelaide Scott, and then only about a boat length back to Raquel Cuvas. Greenland in fourth, and then fifth is Lauren Lyon on the far side. And then it follows Jean Mitchell on this side of the course, or I'd say Sky Frobel would in fact be in front, and that's Jean Mitchell just crossing there now in 8th position, with Cathcart of Melbourne ahead of her.
So, of course, I'm just looking around because the Australian national team selectors will be having a look at these guys. This is a selection event for our under-21 team. The under-21 team, unusual, I suppose, for a country to have a national team at that age bracket, but it's a nice stepping stone between junior and under-23. And we have I cannot call it a friendly, but we have a match with New Zealand, and I believe last year Canada joined in as well.
Yeah, which is great to see, and it's really good for those people that are leaving school, and when they start in a club, give them a target to aim for, because it is quite a jump moving up to the under-23s, and how competitive that is. And we'll see some of those athletes in the under-23s in action shortly.
Indeed we will, yeah. And I agree with you, and I think that we can see we've got some good quality, good calibre athletes at that level.
And Leah Franklin doing a fine job here. She's coming to the last 100 metres and enjoying 3 boat lengths advantage over Adelaide Scott in second spot, and it's just over a boat length then to Raquel Cuvas of Sydney University. Lauren Lyon on the far side of the course is coming under a bit of pressure. Ahead of her is Greenland of ANU, and Mercantile Sculler Sky Frobel has finished this one off strongly, and Lauren Lyon is there in 6th position. But national champion Leah Franklin, Swan River, led from the start all the way, and ahead of Adelaide Scott of UTS, who claims the silver medal. Cuvas of Sydney University will be bronze. Greenland will be 4th. Frobel 5th. Lyon in 6th for Sydney Rowing Club. And then it'll be followed by Lily Cathcart of Melbourne in 7th. And Jean Mitchell of Banks in 8th place.
And you were quite right there, a sub-8 minute time in fine conditions. So the results of our A final of the under-21 women's single scull was a win for Leah Franklin of Swan River. 2nd, Adelaide Scott of UTS Haberfield. 3rd, Raquel Cuvas of Sydney University Boat Club. 4th, Nicola Greenland of ANU and the ACT High Performance Programme. 5th, Sky Frobel from Mercantile and the VIS. 6th, Lauren Lyon from Sydney Rowing Club. 7th, Lily Cathcart from Melbourne Rowing Club. And 8th, Jean Mitchell from Banks. The winning time, 7 minutes 58.64. The margin, 7.22 and 3.37. The presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Coxless Pair Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Flavia Gobbo, Rowing Australia Director and Chair of the High Performance Commission. Third place and bronze medalists, West Australian and Swan River Rowing Clubs. Riley Rees-Turner from Swan River Rowing Club. Duke Gordon from West Australian Rowing Club. The crew was coached by Mark Beer, Neville Kempton and George Zuris. Second place and silver medalists, Mossman Rowing Club. Torben Ungemach. Nicholas Pender. The crew was coached by Matthias Ungemach. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, Brighton Grammar School. Harrison Kirkham. Martin Kuleza. The crew was coached by Nicholas Lloyd. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2019 Australian champions and medalists in the under-19 men's Coxless pair. On the course now is the B final of the under-21 men's single scull, and just about to start the A final of the under-21 men's single scull. In the A final, Chad Derricourt from Swan River is in lane 1, Kieran Riak of Sydney University Boat Club in lane 2, Joe Loveridge of Swan River in lane 3, Jack Barrett from North Esk in lane 4, Jordan Duff of Sydney University Boat Club in lane 5, Ashley Nichols of Sydney Rowing Club and the ACT High Performance Programme in lane 6, Joseph Wilson of North Esk in lane 7 and Tom Galloway of Sydney Rowing Club in lane 8.
And the B final just crossing the line. Justin Brown of Mossman taking it out just ahead of Cairns Riley Blythe and Connor Hopkins. Mossman claiming third. Fourth, Swan Rivers Hugo Nerad. And then in fifth, Jack Bowser of Griffith University Service Paradise. Sixth is a sculler from Mercantile, Harry Cathcart, followed by Torin Olsen of Sydney in seventh. And didn't appear like we have located the Hewan sculler. He has in fact scratched. So Tyler Mason not starting in that one. So A final now, making their way up towards the 850 metre mark. Through the 500 metres though, it was Sydney Rowing Club Ash Nichols that was leading from North S Jack Barrett, just 0.49 seconds back. And then Swan River's Derricourt over on the far side of the course in third. Duff in fourth, Loveridge in fifth, Joseph Wilson of North Esk in sixth, Galloway in seventh, and Riak in eighth place. Now we're starting to get a bit more separation at the tail of the field. At the head of the field, though, there are four scullers that are set to cross the halfway mark within about a boat length of each other, and that field is being led by the sculler in lane number 5. That's Jordan Duff of Sydney University Boat Club, and he's narrowly ahead of Ash Nichols alongside of him on his bow side in lane number 6, just 1.1 seconds back. They went through in 3:35.24. Jack Barrett just 0.11 back, and Joe Loveridge, who we know has got a fantastic finish, he's just 0.31 back in 4th position. Derricourt on the far side in 5th position, followed by Wilson, Riak and Galloway. So we've seen big Jack Barrett up here in the past getting medals in the single scull, and he's currently in a medal position, in the bronze medal position through the halfway mark in this boat. Big, powerful sculler, coached by Trevor Barrett, who we've seen do a fantastic job, not only this year, but in many previous, and he's looking to do well in this one. And Jordan Duff, been at Sydney University for a couple of years now, formerly from Northern Queensland, and he's coached by Don McLaughlin, who was recently appointed coach of the Australian men's lightweight double scull and Australian women's quad scull. So making their way up towards the 1400 metre mark. And it is the sculler from North Est, Jack Barrett, that's had a good third 500 metres. And hanging with him is Ash Nichols and Jordan Duff. But Barrett has certainly moved to the fore here in this third 500 metres, and he's moved out to around about half a boat length advantage over Jordan Duff, and then it's followed by Joe Loveridge of Swan River, the man with the very, very fast finish. He's got the ability to really jack the rating up. We'll see how much the legs have been stung in this first 1,500 metres to whether that nullifies his finish a little bit. But it is Barrett leading from Duff and Loveridge. Ash Nichols, the early race leader, has moved back into fourth place. He's still in with a shot if he's able to finish off as well as he starts. And then we've got Joseph Wilson of North Esk, the second North Esk sculler to qualify for the final. He's in fifth. Dericourt on the far side in sixth. Riak in seventh. And Thomas Galloway from Sydney Rowing Club on this side of the course in lane 8. And with a bit of work to do if he's going to improve on that. And we're starting to see this sprint finish from Loveridge of Swan River. The dark colours 3 from the far side of the course. Now putting a fair bit of pressure on the sculler from Sydney University, Jordan Duff. Loveridge has gone up to 37 strokes a minute. That huge frame of Jack Barrett, only about a point lower. And he's still getting some good run out of his boat. In fact, only about 35 strokes a minute. But as Loveridge has moved up into second spot, and Jordan Duff is doing it a bit tough at the moment, doesn't seem to have the same level of run out of his boat that the others are managing to get ahead of him. But he's still in third spot and with a bit of an advantage over Joseph Wilson, who's moved up into fourth place. And Ash Nichols of Sydney is really suffering in the latter stages of this one. Dericourt of Swan River starting to put some pressure on him, and likewise Riak of Sydney University at the tail of the field. But Jack Barrett has really executed this race plan to perfection. He's just going to coast across the line now and claim the gold medal. Second goes to Joe Loveridge of Swan River. And bronze medal to Jordan Duff of Sydney University. Joseph Wilson, very good second half of the race to claim fourth. Dericourt of Swan River fifth. And I think Nichols may just have held off Riak for sixth and seventh. And Thomas Galloway of Sydney Rowing Club placing eighth.
So recapping the results of the A final of the under-21 men's single scull, it was a fine win for Jack Barrett of North Esk. In second, Joe Loveridge of Swan River. In third, Jordan Duff of Sydney University Boat Club. In fourth, Joseph Wilson of North Esk. In fifth, Chad Dericourt of Swan River. In sixth, Ash Nichols of Sydney Rowing Club. In seventh, Kieran Riak of Sydney University Boat Club. And in eighth, Tom Galloway of Mossman Rowing Club. Time for that A final, 7 minutes 16.32 seconds. The margins 2.07 and 2.18. The presentation of medals for the Under-21 Women's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Michael Eastoff, Rowing Australia Life Member and Technical Director of the Aon 2019 Sydney International Rowing Regatta. Third place and bronze medalist, representing Sydney University Boat Club, Raquel Cuvas. Raquel is coached by Debbie Fox. Second place and silver medalist representing UTS Haberfield, Adelaide Scott. Adelaide is coached by David Geely. Ladies and gentlemen, our gold medalist and Australian champion for 2019 is unable to be with us. It was Leah Franklin representing Swan River Rowing Club, and she is coached by Mark Beer. But please join us in congratulating our silver and bronze medalists in the 2019 Women's Under-21 Single Scull. Thank you. A final of the under-21 women's Coxless pair has just started. In lane 1, Sydney Rowing Club, Crystal Piper and India Thompson. In lane 2, a composite of Jamie Ford from Sydney University Boat Club and Emma Wilson from Swan River Rowing Club. In lane 3, Charlotte Hill and Lauren Hutton of Swan River. In lane 4, from Banks, Maddie Carman and Amelia Garley. In lane 5, from Mercantile Rowing Club, Daisy Butterworth and Emmy Frederico. In lane 6, from Melbourne University Boat Club, Bridget McKeaney Douglas and Eleanor Price. In lane 7, from Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport, Izzy Furrer and Lauren Graham. And in lane 8, a composite between Meg Messer of Buckingham and Annalise Mackey of North Esk.
And Mercantile's Butterworth and Frederico look to have just gotten their steering sorted. They had an errant start to the race. Qualified in one of the centre lanes at Mercantile Combination, coached by Bridget Carlisle, and they look to have gotten that sorted and getting their boat up to speed in this first couple of 100 metres of this race. They're only a minute and a quarter into it. And Mercantile, the current holders of this event, the under-21 women's Coxless pair. Sydney and Swiss crew in lane number 7 had an interesting path to the finals. They had their boat underweight in one of the earlier rounds, so they had to go, or in fact from the heat, so they had to go through via the repechage. So they're there in lane number 7 and faring quite well as they start to make their way up towards the 500 metre mark. And it is the Swan River crew, Charlotte Hill and Lauren Hutton, coached by Mark Beer, whose charge just won the previous A final, Leah Franklin, that are just narrowly being shaded by Sydney Rowing Club. Or in fact, just showing up Sydney 0.61 back in second spot, and Banks, Carman and Garley, coached by Will Raven and Edward Fuller in third spot, just 0.73. In arrears, Mercantile, Butterworth and Frederico in fourth, then followed by Melbourne University, Sydney on the far side of the course, North East Buckingham on this side, and Swan River, Sydney Uni second from the far side of the course. So Lauren Graham and Isabel Furrer, coached by Lachlan Carter and Donovan Seck. The Sydney and Swiss crew, they were part of the Australian Junior Cox 4 last year that were silver medalists at the World Rowing Junior Championships. And we have the B final just making its way up towards the line with Buckingham's Isabel Higgins and Caitlin Hogan-Jones set to put their bow across about a length and a third ahead of crew from West Australian Rowing Club and Swan River, Jessica Walsh and Alex McLaren. And then they'll be followed by Mercantile in third position. Fourth will go to the crew from Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club, Sexton and Jones, and they're followed by University of Queensland in fifth position. Rooney and Jansen and Newell and Murchie are a non-starter. So the A final starting to make its way up towards the 900 metre mark, and that yellow boat of Sydney Rowing Club, quite prominent. Lauren Graham and Isabel Furrer that are in the race lead. And we're seeing another four crews starting to move well with them. Melbourne University's McKeaney, Douglas and Price have had a good second 500. But still it is the Swan River crew that are, or in fact Banks, that are through the halfway mark in second spot. Melbourne University in third. Swan River in fourth. And they're followed by Mercantile. The Swan River Sydney University crew has moved up from 8th to 6th. That's Ford and Wilson, ahead of Piper and Thompson, who are alongside of them, and then back to North East Buckingham, who have been pushed back into 8th position. But on screen, the Sydney Rowing Club crew, Lauren Graham in the bow seat, Isabel Furrer in the stroke seat. And now we're seeing lane 8 on screen, which is the North Esk crew of Meg Messer from Buckingham in the bow seat, and Annalise Mackey of North Esk. So quite a difference between those two boats as they come through the 1,250 metre mark. So Sydney Rowing Club have been able to just eke ahead as this race has progressed down the course. And this Banks have had a executing a good middle 1,000 here. That's Maddie Carman, Amelia Garley, and they're coached by their new head coach at Banks Rowing Club, William Raven, of course, King's Cup winner, and Edward Fuller, also assisting Will Raven there, and doing a very, very good job at Banks in growing the club and growing the depth as well at the club from right in the heart of Melbourne. They're in second position, and they're then followed by Melbourne University in third spot, and then back to Mercantile, Butterworth and Frederico, who are in fourth position as they start to make their way up towards the 1,500 metre mark. So Sydney Rowing Club in the lead in the sky blue colours, around about a length and 3/4 ahead of Banks, and then followed by Melbourne University, and then Mercantile in fourth spot. And it will take a bit for Swan River to try and get in the medals. They're a further 3.94 seconds back, and then back to the Swan River Sydney University crew, second from the far side of the course. Northwest Buckingham have moved ahead of Sydney, who are now back in 8th place with Piper and Thompson. So Banks looking to still build on that good middle 1,000 that they've had and see if they can challenge Sydney Rowing Club. They were over 3.5 seconds back on them through that 1,500 metre mark, but it is still the Sydney New South Wales Institute of Sport crew that are there on 34 strokes a minute with the race lead, and Banks trying to match them with rate. And also Melbourne University, Bridget McKeaney Douglas and Eleanor Price, coached by James Smith, the New Zealander that was previously at Kinross Wallaroi School and is a development coach down at Melbourne University Boat Club. They've had a very good race. They've just been picking up places as they move through each section of the race, and they're ahead of their great rivals, Mercantile Rowing Club, who are in fourth position. And Jamie Ford and Emma Wilson of Sydney University Swan River have moved their way up into fifth position after a modest start, and they're ahead of Swan River in sixth. And then back to Northwest Buckingham in 7th and Sydney Rowing Club on the far side of the course in 8th place, but still giving it plenty at the head of the field with just 70 metres to go. Lauren Graham in the bow seat, Isabel Farrer in the stroke seat, and Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport will take out the under-21 women's Coxless pair. And it will be Banks that will get the silver medal. They're holding off Melbourne University, who will claim bronze, only a further length back. And then followed by Mercantile in fourth place. Fifth to go to Ford and Wilson of Sydney University Swan River Composite. Then followed by Swan River in sixth. Seventh will be Northwest Composite and Sydney Rowing Club placing eighth.
Recapping the results of that A final of the under-21 women's Coxless pair, a win for Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport, Lauren Graham and Isabel Farrer. In second, Banks, Maddie Carman and Amelia Garley. In third, Melbourne University Boat Club, Bridget McKeaney Douglas and Eleanor Price. In fourth, Mercantile. In fifth, the Swan River Sydney University Composite. In sixth, Swan River. In seventh, the North Esk Buckingham Composite. And in eighth, Sydney Rowing Club. Time for that A final, 7 minutes 35.04 seconds. The margins 5.42 and 1.87. The presentation of medals for the Under-21 Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Michael Eastoff, Rowing Australia Life Member and Technical Director of the 2019 Aon Sydney International Rowing Regatta. Third place and bronze medalist representing Sydney University Boat Club, Jordan Duff. Jordan is coached by Don McLaughlin. Second place and silver medalist representing Swan River Rowing Club, Joe Loveridge. gold medalist and Australian champion for 2019, representing North Esk Rowing Club, Jack Barrett. Jack is coached by Trevor Barrett. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate all our medalists in the Under-21 Men's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The B final of the Under-21 Men's Coxless pair is in progress. The A final is on the start line. In the A final, in lane 1, Melbourne University Boat Club represented by James Heath and Thomas Paige. In lane 2, Melbourne University Boat Club represented by Maxwell Fisher and Max Cooper. And in lane 3, Melbourne University Boat Club represented by Harry Fox and Harrison Miller. In lane 4, Toowong Rowing Club, Jethro Gifford and Benjamin Pincus. In lane 5, Sydney Rowing Club, Oscar Carr Middleton and Oscar Olsen. In lane 6 from Melbourne University Boat Club, Alec Rose and Tom Hooper. In lane 7, the West Australian Rowing Club crew of Gus Laufman and Bailey Flecker. And in lane 8 from Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Harry Smith and Dougal Coleman.
Yeah, so great to see Melbourne University, 4 boats in here, and great development of the sport down there on the Yarra from Melbourne University Boat Club. The crew of Alec Rose and Tom Hooper that were leading, but the B final coming up towards the line. It is the crew from Mercantile, Benton and Ackerman that take the win from Swan River, Sander and McQuillan, and Ungamark and Blackmore Cram claim 3rd spot in this B final. 4th to go to Tasmania University, Haas and Hall, and they're followed by Griffith University Service Paradise in 5th. Sydney Uni 6th, 7th is North Esk, and 8th will be Adelaide Rowing Club. And this A final, they're already making their way up towards the 800 metre mark, and it was Rose and Hooper that led through the first 500 metre. Alec Rose and Tom Hooper. Tom Hooper, part of the great Hooper family, who've produced so many great rowers and continue to. And they're coached by Michael Poulter, part of the Australian team around about 6 or 7 years ago, I think under 23 team back then. They led from Fox and Miller, who are 3rd from the far side of the course. Toowong in lane 4 were in 3rd. And then the 2 Oscars from Sydney, Carr Middleton and Olsen, were there in 4th spot, followed by Fisher and Hooper of Melbourne University, Smith and Coleman of Griffith University, Heath and Paige of Melbourne University, and West Australian rowing clubs Laufman and Flecker. So as they start to make their way up towards the 1,000 metre mark, it is Harry Fox and Harrison Miller that have started to move to the race lead, ahead of Gifford and Pincus of Toowong, and then followed by Rose and Hooper of Melbourne University. The 2 Oscars from Sydney Rowing Club, Oscar Carr Middleton, previously at Eton College, and Oscar Olsen from King's College School, Wimbledon, a World Junior Champion in the 8 from last year for Great Britain. And they're coached by Franz Infeld and Donovan Seck. And they're right there in the mix as those 4 crews in the centre. Leading out, Fisher and Cooper of Melbourne University are next in 5th position, followed by Smith and Coleman of Griffith University Service Paradise. West Australian Rowing Club are in 7th, and Melbourne University's Heath and Paige on the far side of the course are back in 8th position. So we'll see who's got a good middle 1,000 here. Certainly Fox and Miller doing quite well, 3rd from the southern side of the course, and trying to go with them Jethro Gifford and Benjamin Pincus, coached by Kieran Dwyer and Leo Karademetris. Still Melbourne University leading here, and mentioned a fantastic job of them getting 4 crews into the final, and it looks like they'll be taking something back with them as a result of this as well. So a strong performance coming from them, and great to see the work being done by Michael Poulter down at Melbourne University Boat Club. So Toowong just starting to push through them now in the latter stages of this 3rd 500 metres. Jethro Gifford and Benjamin Pincus moving to the race lead. And Moved up to about 36 strokes a minute ahead of Fox and Miller. Sydney Rowing Club's Oscar Carr, Middleton and Oscar Olsen are in third spot, and they're then followed by Alec Rose and Tom Hooper of Melbourne University, and then back to Griffith University on this side of the course. Melbourne University over in lane number 2. West Australian are in 7th, and in 8th place Heath and Paige of Melbourne University Boat Club. So the third 500, where so many races are won and lost. It was a very strong performance from Toowong, moving to the race lead and moving a couple of seconds ahead of Fox and Miller. So do they have a response? Or Toowong just going to move away with it again in this last 500 metres? Sydney Rowing Club is certainly improving and putting Fox and Miller under a fair bit of pressure in this last 350 metres. Their rating's gone right up now. They're pushing 39 strokes a minute. That's the crew 5 from the far side of the course. And they're now just starting to get a bit of an overlap with the race leaders from Toowong. So Sydney Rowing Club have moved up into second spot. Fox and Miller coming under a lot of fire, as also their clubmates Rose and Hooper from Melbourne University trying to finish this one off as strongly as they started it. We have had a response though from Toowong at the head of the field. There was an overlap with Sydney Rowing Club, and they're now trying to get rid of that and move out to just a little bit of clear water as they come into the last 100 metres. Jethro, Gifford and Benjamin Pincus from Toowong still maintaining their advantage, as Sydney Rowing Club have been able to up the rate to around about 40 strokes a minute in the closing stages of this one and put Toowong under a fair bit of pressure, but the Queenslanders will hold on. Toowong, national champions in the under-21 Coxless pair. Silver medal to Sydney Rowing Club, bronze to Fox and Miller, fourth to Rose and Hooper. Oh, and it's a celebratory dip for Toowong there as they've gone in after crossing the line. Fifth goes to the crew of Fisher and Hooper, then followed by Smith and Coleman of Griffith University. West Australian Rowing Club was 7th, and Heath and Paige of Melbourne University Boat Club claiming 8th.
Well, I thought it was hot, but hot enough for a dip like that? I don't know. Awesome. So the A final of the under-21 men's Coxless pair won by the synchronized swimmers from Toowong Rowing Club, Jethro Gifford and Benjamin Pincus. A fine win over Sydney Rowing Club's Oscar Carr Middleton and Oscar Olsen. In third place, Melbourne University Boat Club crew of Harry Fox and Harrison Miller. In fourth, the Melbourne University Boat Club crew of Rose and Hooper. In fifth, Melbourne University Boat Club crew of Fisher and Cooper, not Hooper. In 6th, Griffith Unicef Paradise. In 7th, West Australian Rowing Club. And in 8th, Melbourne University Boat Club crew of Heath and Paige. Winning time, 6 minutes 46.61. The margins 1.25, 1.81 and just 0.74. The presentation of medals for the Under-21 Women's Coxless Pair Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Michael Eastoff, Rowing Australia Life Member and Technical Director to the Aon 2019 Sydney International Rowing Regatta. Third place and bronze medalists, Banks Rowing, Melbourne University Boat Club. Bridget McKeaney Douglas. Eleanor Price. The crew is coached by James Smith. Second place and silver medalists, Banks Rowing Club. Maddie Carman. Amelia Garley. The crew is coached by Will Raven and Edward Fuller. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, Sydney Rowing Club. Lauren Graham. Isabel Furrer. The crew is coached by Lachlan Carter and Donovan Check and supported by the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2019 Australian champions and medalists in the under-21 women's Coxless pair. We're now moved to the A final of the under-23 women's single scull. In lane 1, representing Sydney Rowing Club and the ACT High Performance Programme, Romola Davenport. In lane 2, Alexandra Wrigley from Tamar. In lane 3, Taylor McCarthy-Smith from Canned Rowing Club and the Queensland Academy of Sport. In lane 4, Georgia Patton from West Australian Rowing Club and the Western Australia Institute of Sport. In lane 5, Rhea Thompson from the University of Queensland Boat Club and the Queensland Academy of Sport. In lane 6, Lily Olsen from University of Queensland Boat Club and the Queensland Academy of Sport. In lane 7, Harriet Hudson from Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. And in lane 8, Sarah Ashlin from North Esk.
And this has the potential to be an absolute cracker. We saw a cracker in that first A final of the morning in the women's under-17 single scale, and this has the potential to be a great battle all the way down the course. We're seeing from the University of Queensland, Rhea Thompson, coached by Ben Southwell, that's leading through that first 500 metres, and leading from Georgia Patton, who's done a great job switching from sweep to sculling, who's there in second spot. Harriet Hudson in third, then follows Australia's World Junior representative last year in the single scull, Taylor McCarthy-Smith, who's there in fourth. Wrigley of Tamar is in fifth. She's had a good regatta. Lily Olsen, who was very good at the Queensland Championships a few months ago, was there in sixth position, followed by Ashlyn of North Esk and Romola Davenport of the Sydney Rowing Club and ACT Performance Program is doing a good job over there against some much bigger athletes. She has rowed lightweight in previous years and giving away a fair bit of size in this one. So on screen, we start to pan across to Harriet Hudson and of Sydney Rowing Club, and also the B final now approaching the finish line, and it is the sculler from Melbourne University, Charlotte Wirtz, coached by Matt Ryan, that's going to claim it very narrowly from Bramwell of Adelaide Rowing Club, and then third going to Kelly Drenth of UTS, fourth to Adelaide and Sassy's Caitlin Nicholson. And very close for fifth position with Lara Wainwright sprinting home, and she'll just get there narrowly for UTS ahead of Jessica Malasauskas of North Esk. And then followed by Sienna Grady of Nepean Rowing Club in seventh position and Jana Pretorius of the Australian National University Boat Club in eighth place. So went through in just over 8 minutes in that B final of the under-23 women's single scull. A final though, coming through the halfway mark, and very dominant second 500 from Rhea Thompson. She's extended her advantage. Harriet Hudson of Sydney Rowing Club in the yellow boat has moved up into second spot, just nearly 3 seconds in arrears, and 0.63 back to Georgia Patton of West Australian Rowing Club and the Western Australian Institute of Sport. Wrigley of Tamar, coached by big Brendan Long, is there in fourth position, and Taylor McCarthy-Smith, great step up from her from juniors last year, and she's in fifth position for Canned Rowing Club and the Queensland Academy of Sport. Lily Olsen back in sixth position for University of Queensland, Ashlyn in seventh, and Davenport on the far side of the course in eighth place. Rhea Thompson, formerly from Melbourne Rowing Club, and then went to Mercantile, and now up at the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. She's coached by Ben Southwell, and continuing to lead here with a very, very strong performance. She was dominant in the semi-finals yesterday and gave a good precursor of what to look for here in the A final. She's the defending title holder from her time at Mercantile and the Victorian Institute of Sport, And in her first year up in Queensland, she's continuing to go from strength to strength. She leads coming up towards the 1,350 metre mark. Georgia Patton also there on screen in lane number 4, was part of the Australian under-23 women's pair last year with Brom and Cox. And switched to sculling. I presume her coach at West Australian Institute of Sport will be Rhett Aliff. And Georgia Patton putting in a good performance there in the cardinal colours to the left of the screen, but absolutely dominant coming up towards the 1,500 metre mark at 36 strokes a minute. Rhea Thompson of the University of Queensland and the QAS. She's got a couple of boat lengths and a little bit more over Harriet Hudson of Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. And they're certainly moving, going through 5:39. That's certainly moving for an under-23 women's sculler as they come into the last quarter of this race. Patton in third, Alexandra Wrigley continuing her great form into this regatta as she is there in 4th place ahead of Olsen in 5th, who's moved ahead of Taylor McCarthy Smith in this third 500 metres. Davenport has moved up into 7th place, and Sarah Ashland has been just pushed back into 8th place on this side of the course. But can anyone catch Rhea Thompson? Certainly Harriet Hudson's best place, but Rhea Thompson's making sure that she's still got a couple of boat lengths up her sleeve and no sign of relenting here. This has been a fantastic performance from the University of Queensland sculler and the QAS. Saw some very, very fast times in this event at the New South Wales State Championships by Harriet Hudson, and Rhea Thompson is continuing on the great performances here in the under-23 women's sculling group, where there's quite a great deal of depth. So 150 metres to go for Rhea Thompson from the University of Queensland. Georgia Patton is finishing this one off very strongly. That's putting a fair bit of pressure on Harriet Hudson. Patton is up to 35 strokes a minute. Harriet Hudson, though, still looking very strong. She's at similar rate, 35 strokes a minute, and her and Patton are certainly duking it out for the silver medal. But only about 8 strokes to go for Rhea Thompson of the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. And this has been a fantastic performance. And she will retain her under-23 women's single sculling title for the National Championships. Harriet Hudson just holding on. Georgia Patton coming out. It's going to come down to the final stroke. I think it may well have been Hudson that got that, but we'll await the photo finish. 2 buttons being pressed within a quarter of a second, so it shows up as a photo on the screen. All the times they're getting taken off the camera. And Tamar's Alexandra Wrigley placing 4th. Lily Alton finishing 5th. Cairns Taylor McCarthy Smith was 6th. 7th to Romy Davenport of Sydney Rowing Club, and in 8th place, Sarah Ashland of North Esk.
Just waiting now. Oh, here we go. So the photo finish has now been judged. The final placings in the A final of the under-23 women's single scull. A win for Rhea Thompson, the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. Second, Harriet Hudson, Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Third, Georgia Patton, West Australian Rowing Club and the Western Australia Institute of Sport. In 4th, Alexandra Wrigley of Tamar. In 5th, Lily Alton, University of Queensland. In 6th, Taylor McCarthy Smith of Cand. In 7th, Romola Davenport of Sydney. In 8th, Sarah Ashland of North Esk. Time for that A final, 7 minutes 35.86 seconds. 7 minutes 35.86 seconds. The margins 4.81 and 0.07. What a race.
I don't know that there's ever been an under-23 women's sculler gone faster on this venue. So,
I don't think so. Fantastic.
Yeah, that is flying.
Would you happen to
Sorry. I only got that far.
The presentation of medals for the Under-21 Men's Coxless Pair Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Ian Wright, head coach of the Men's National Training Centre. Third place and bronze medalists, Melbourne University Boat Club. Harry Fox. Harrison Miller. The crew was coached by Michael Poulter. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney Rowing Club. Oscar Carr Middleton. Oscar Olsen. The crew was coached by Franz Infeld and Donovan Check. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2019, Toowong Rowing Club. Jethro Gifford. Benjamin Pincus. The crew was coached by Kieran Dwyer and Leo Karadimitris. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Australian champions and medalists in the under-21 men's Coxless pair.
And the B final of the under-23 men's single scull, just heading up towards the line. Joel Kane of Mercantile claims the win over James Meads of Banks Rowing Club. So that will give them rankings 9 and 10 in this event, respectively. Sydney University's Richard Ledger, great performance from him. First season of rowing. He was a raw novice at the start of the year. He places third. Fourth to Alexander Clark of Mercantile and the Victorian Institute of Sport. Fifth to West Australian Rowing Club's Jonathan Ashby. And in sixth is Fremantle's David Latham and Philip Kaufman, another of the novices that Jack Hanley at Sydney University took on board this year. He will place seventh in the B final of the under-23 men's single scull. And the A final of the under-23 men's single scull.
It's now in progress. In lane 1, we've got Jack Deans of Adelaide Rowing Club and the South Australian Sports Institute. In lane 2, Devlin Walsh of Sydney University Boat Club. In lane 3, Jackson Free of Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. In lane 4, Harry Glacken of Capital Lakes Rowing Club and the ACT High Performance Programme. In lane 5, Cormac Kennedy Leverett of Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise and the Queensland Academy of Sport. In lane 6, Oscar Winter of West Australian Rowing Club. In lane 7, Angus Dawson of Adelaide Rowing Club and the South Australian Sports Institute. And in lane 8, Matt Curtin of UTS and the New South Wales Institute of Sport.
And in this one, through the 1,000-metre mark, Cormac Kennedy Leverett leading, and it's no surprise, 3:24.64 over Harry Glacken of Capital Lakes and the ACT High Performance Program. And it was a further 1.28 seconds back to Angus Dawson of Adelaide and the South Australian Sports Institute. Jackson Free has moved up to 4th place ahead of Oscar Winter of West Australian Rowing Club in 5th. Matt Curtin, who's the freshest he's been, is in 6th position, and Jack Deans from Adelaide and the South Australian Sports Institute in 7th, and Devlin Walsh of Sydney University in 8th. But Cormac Kennedy Leverett, he came out to make a statement in the semi-finals yesterday. He won in 7:03. He won his semi-final by 12 seconds. It was 9 seconds faster than the other semi that was won by Harry Glacken. And Cormac Kennedy Leverett, who world junior champion and also in the double scull and also medalist in the single scull, he's been in absolutely fantastic form. He's already gone under 7 minutes at this venue this season, and he's well clear of Harry Glacken, who's only been rowing about a year and a half. Nick Garrett has done an amazing job with this guy. He's a lovely young man and a huge guy, absolutely towers over you when you talk to him, but he's a really, really good sculler that continues to improve all the time. He was gone from hitting buoys at the New South Wales Small Boats Regatta here in January to getting all that under control and doing a fine job here in second spot. But Cormac Kennedy Leverett untouched through in 5:11, so sub 7 minutes in the offing here in this under-23 men's single scull for the Griffith University Service Paradise QAS sculler, coached by Marcus Free. Glacken there in second spot. Angus Dawson still in third. 2 out from the grandstand for Adelaide and the South Australian Sports Institute. He's coached by Jason Lane. And then we have Jackson Free, also coached by Marcus Free, his father. They're in fourth position. Oscar Winter in fifth, the Western Australian Rowing Club, followed by Deans, Walsh and Matt Curtin, who has had a very, very busy year coaching at Loretto Normanhurst on this on this same course. Has had a very, very limited training schedule coming into this one. So I think he'll be happy to make the A final in this one in his first year out of rowing lightweight. But at the head of the field, Cormac Kennedy Leverett is unrelenting coming into the last 200 metres. Marcus Free, coach sculler, still at 35 strokes a minute. Harry Glacken still in the silver medal spot, but coming under some good pressure from Angus Dawson of Adelaide and the South Australian Sports Institute. And Oscar Winter of West Australian Rowing Club also trying to finish off strongly. Likewise, Marcus Free. And over on the far side of the course is Jack Deans, who's also trying to improve on his current sixth position. But into the last 60 metres, Cormac Kennedy Leverett of Griffith University Service Paradise, the favourite for this event. And he is shown why with an absolutely dominant performance here. And he's coming up towards the line to claim a convincing national title in the under-23 men's single scull. Sub 7 minutes, 6:59, unofficial. Harry Glacken claims a well-earned silver medal. Fine performance from Jackson Free to get up for the bronze. So Griffith University claimed 2 of the medals. Dawson is relegated to 4th. 5th to Oscar Winter of West Australian Rowing Club, followed by Jack Deans in 6th. Matt Curtin just manages to outsprint Devlin Walsh in that race for 7th and 8th.
Thank you, Owen. Yes, confirmation there of the winner of the under-23 men's single scull, Cormac Kennedy Leverett for the Griffith University Surface Paradise Club. Second, Harry Glacken. Third, Jackson Free. Then Angus Dawson, Oscar Winter, Jack Deans, Matthew Curtin and Devlin Walsh. 6:59.38, the unofficial winning time there to the sculler from Griffith University, and a margin of 7.31 seconds. The presentation of medals for the Under-23 Women's Single Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Mr. Ian Wright, head coach, the Reinhold Batchy Men's National Training Centre. In third place, and bronze medalist, representing the West Australian Rowing Club, Georgia Patton. In second place, and silver medalist, representing the Sydney Rowing Club, Harriet Hudson. The gold medalist and Australian champion for 2019, representing the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport, Ria Thompson. Ria is coached by Benjamin Southwell. Please congratulate the 2019 Australian champion and Medalists.